All right, so hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into something kind of interesting today. It's all this buzz around Val Sweeting's transformation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Right. For someone already at the top of her game, she's already killing it. It's interesting to see such a noticeable change. Like, what's she doing? Why now?
Yeah, and you know what gets me? It hasn't, made some big announcement. No, my weight loss journey posts nothing.
It's like she's letting her actions speak for themselves almost. But hey, for those who might not follow curling religiously, who is Val Sweeting? Fill us in.
Okay, so Val Sweeting, she's a powerhouse in the curling world. We're talking multiple Grand Slam wins, consistently at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
Wow. Okay, so she's not just messing around.
No, not at all. This isn't someone trying to break in, This is a champion making a deliberate change. That's what makes it so interesting.
I see. So it's not just about getting in shape. It's like a strategic move from someone who's already proven herself.
Exactly.
Okay, so then what's all this buzz about? What have people actually been noticing?
Well, it's her physique. Photos, commentators, everyone's pointing out that she looks slimmer, more toned.
Interesting. So she's clearly doing something different. But the million-dollar question is why? What's the motivation? What are people speculating?
Okay, so the obvious answer, and it's what most of the articles are focusing on, is performance enhancement.
Really? Curling?
Yeah, I know, you might think curling, but hold on, think about it. You need to be agile to move on the ice, you need endurance for those super long games, and then the strength to sweep powerfully.
Ah, I see what you mean. So even small improvements could make a big difference.
Huge difference, and as athletes age, they need to adapt to stay on top. Plus, don't forget the long-term health benefits.
Oh, right, for sure. Managing your weight helps with inflammation, recovery from injuries, just overall well-being. It could be a whole bunch of things, right?
Exactly, it's probably a combo of factors.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, and I bet this might surprise some people. When we dug into all this stuff about athlete diets, guess what? They often eat more than the average person.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, right?
Yeah, mind blown. So it's not about eating less.
No, it's about fueling your body properly for performance, lean proteins, complex carbs, healthy fats, all timed specifically.
Ah, so it's like strategic eating.
Exactly.
Okay, so is this what? Chicken and brown rice and avocado for every meal. What's the deal here?
Haha, not exactly. It's more nuanced. Think about it. A big protein-packed breakfast to get you going and keep you focused all morning. Then a balanced lunch with protein, carbs, and veggies for energy that lasts.
Makes sense.
And then a lighter dinner so it's easier to digest and helps you recover while you sleep.
So, adapting what you eat based on your activity and what you want to achieve?
Bingo.
Interesting. So it's not about shrinking your plate. It's more about the right fuel for your body. That totally goes against the whole restrictive diet thing, right?
Totally. It makes you think, are we all falling for those quick fix diets when maybe what we really need is to change how we see food?
Food is fuel.
Exactly. Fuel for reaching our goals, whatever they are.
That's a powerful way to look at it. I like that. Okay, so we've talked about the reasons behind this transformation, touched on the diet changes, but what about the actual workout routine? What's going on there?
Well, before we get into that, we got to address the elephant in the room. Curling. People don't realize how athletic it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's this unique combo of strength, endurance, and precision.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks.
Not at all. So, okay, what would someone like Val Sweeting be doing to step up her game? Well, you need serious upper body strength for powerful sweeting, heavy lifting, compound moves, all that stuff.
Okay, so we're not talking about bicep curls and triceps extensions.
No. This is functional strength, moves that directly translate onto the ice.
Gotcha.
And then there's core strength that's so important for balance on the ice. Planks, Russian twists, you name it.
Ah, right, because if your core is weak, your whole game's going to suffer.
Exactly. And we can't forget leg strength either. Think about those lunges while sweeping. You need power and stability. So squats, lunges, plyometric exercises are probably in there too.
So a full body workout routine.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then for cardio, you gotta remember those games are long. You need serious endurance.
True.
So probably a mix of low intensity stuff like jogging or cycling and some high intensity interval training.
That makes sense. So she's building stamina and explosiveness. But it's not all about brute strength and endless cardio, is it? We talked about flexibility and mobility. How do those fit in?
They're key, especially for preventing injuries. Think dynamic stretching before workouts, yoga or Pilates for that flexibility and core strength, and then specific mobility routines designed for the demands of curling.
I see. So it all comes back to that functional fitness idea, right? It's not about just looking good. It's about prepping your body to perform at its best.
Exactly.
And, that's something we could all learn from, whether we're trying to be pro athletes or just move better in daily life.
Totally agree. Functional strength and mobility help us move better, avoid injuries, just improve our quality of life overall.
like being able to carry those groceries, play with your kids without getting tired, just feeling good in your own skin. But you know what? As we're talking about all this physical stuff, it makes me wonder, what about the mental side of things? We know that mindset is huge for athletes, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, what our sources say is that mental training is just as important as the physical stuff. For athletes like Val Sweeting, it's all about building mental toughness, that focus, that ability to stay cool under pressure.
Okay, so it's not just about like picturing yourself winning, right? There's got to be more to it.
Way more to it. It's about developing a mindset where you see challenges as chances to learn and get better. It's about mindfulness so you can stay present and focused even when things are intense. And it's about learning to control that inner voice, replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones.
Wow. Sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but those mental skills are so valuable, not just in sports, but in life, too. Imagine facing deadlines, relationships, even just your commute with that kind of mental strength and focus.
Right. That would be game-changing. And you know what's really fascinating to me? We've been speculating about all this stuff, but Val Sweeting hasn't actually laid it all out for us. She's just doing her thing.
It's true, she's letting her actions speak for themselves. So it's kind of up to us to figure out the clues and maybe apply some of those to our own lives.
Love it. All right, everyone, we're just getting started. Stick with us as we keep digging deeper into Val Sweeting's winning transformation.
All right, welcome back. You guys ready for more? Because we're about to really get into the how way of Val Sweeting's transformation.
Okay, so in part one, we kind of figured out that this is more than just a physical change. It's like a whole shift, right? Diet, training, even mental stuff. And what's cool is she's not bragging about it.
I know, right? It's like she's going against that whole dogma meant everything thing.
It is. It makes you focus on what she's actually doing, not just the hype.
Totally.
It's like her performance is doing all the talking. And it's saying a lot. But you know me, I got to try and solve the puzzle. So let's like play detective for a bit. Try and figure out what she might be doing.
All right, detective, what are we looking at first?
Okay, so we talked about diet earlier. And I'm kind of stuck on that whole thing about athletes eating more than us regular folks.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
It is. But then when you think about it, it makes sense. They're burning so much energy, they got to fuel up.
Exactly. And it's not just how much they eat, but what they eat and when.
Okay, so break it down. What would a day of eating look like for Val Sweeting? Like just a typical day.
All right, well, breakfast's got to be something that gives you energy and focus that lasts all morning. So high protein, complex carbs, something like scrambled eggs with whole grain toast and some avocado, or maybe Greek yogurt with berries and some nuts.
That sounds pretty good, actually. And way more filling than just cereal or something.
Right. Then for lunch, you're refueling after training or competing. Gotta have a good balance of protein, healthy fats, and complex carbs.
Okay.
So maybe grilled chicken or fish with quinoa and a big salad, or maybe lentil soup with some good whole grain bread.
Okay, so real food, not just diet shakes or something.
Exactly. And then dinner, it's not about eating light necessarily. It's more about choosing stuff that digests well and won't mess with your sleep.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe some baked fish or tofu with steamed veggies and a little brown rice or sweet potato.
Got it. So lighter protein, easy on the stomach.
Exactly. And of course, got to stay hydrated all day long.
Right. Water, water, water.
Yep. And maybe some electrolyte drinks after tough workouts to get those minerals back.
So it's like a really thought out way of eating. It's all about performance and recovery, huh?
Yep, exactly.
But what about those cravings? We all get them. Do these athletes just have like superhuman willpower or something?
They're human, just like us, but they've learned to make choices that help them reach their goals. They might indulge here and there, but they know that what they eat most of the time makes the biggest difference.
That's a good reminder for all of us, right? It's not about being perfect. It's about the overall picture. Okay, so we covered eating. Let's get physical. Like literally, we talked about how demanding curling is. So what kind of training would someone like Val Sweeting be doing to get better?
All right, well, first, strength training. Sweeping takes a lot of upper body strength, so compound exercises like deadlifts, rows, overhead presses, things that build power.
So not your typical gym stuff, huh?
No. This is functional strength, movements that directly help you in the sport.
Got it. Makes sense.
And then core strength, that's super crucial for balance and stability on the ice. Planks, Russian twists, medicine ball throws, all those good core exercises.
Yeah, because if your core's weak, your whole game's gonna be off.
Exactly. And we can't forget leg strength. Those sweeping lunges need power and stability. So squats, lunges, plyometrics are probably in the mix too.
So strength training for pretty much the whole body then.
Yep, it's all connected. And then there's the cardio. Long games, you need endurance, so probably some jogging, cycling, that kind of thing, and some high-intensity interval training, too, to build that explosiveness.
So she's working on stamina and those bursts of power. Makes sense. But it's got to be more than just lifting heavy and running forever, right? Like, what about flexibility and mobility? Where do those fit in?
Oh, they're super important, especially for avoiding injuries. So dynamic stretching before workouts, yoga or Pilates for flexibility and core strength, and then maybe some mobility routines that are specifically designed for curling.
I see. So it's tailored to the sport.
Right, and this all ties back to that functional fitness thing we were talking about. It's about training your body to perform at its best, not just look good.
And that's something we can all benefit from, athlete or not.
Totally. Functional strength and mobility help you move better, avoid injuries, just improve your overall quality of life.
It's like being able to lift that heavy bag of groceries, play with your kids without getting winded, just feeling good in your body. But, as we're talking about all this physical training, it makes me think, what about the mental side of things? We know mindset is huge for athletes, but what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, from what we've gathered, mental training is just as important as physical training. For athletes like Val Sweeting, it's about being mentally tough, focused, and staying calm under pressure.
Okay, so not just positive thinking, right? There's more to it than that.
Oh, way more. It's about developing a mindset where challenges are opportunities to learn and grow. It's about being mindful so you can stay present and focused even when things are crazy. And it's about controlling your inner voice, replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones.
So it's like training your mind like you train your body.
Exactly.
Makes sense. And those skills are so helpful, not just in sports, but in life too. Just think about handling deadlines at work or relationships, even just your daily commute with that kind of mental strength.
Right. That would be amazing. And what's really interesting is that Val Sweeting hasn't given us a step-by-step guide or anything. She's just out there doing it.
Yeah, she's letting her actions speak for themselves. It's up to us to kind of decode it and figure out how we can use those lessons in our own lives.
Exactly.
All right, everyone, we're not done yet. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive into Val Sweeting's winning transformation. All right, so welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last two parts kind of digging into the why and the how of Val Sweeting's transformation. But now I want to talk about what it all means,
Yeah, I think it makes this so interesting is it's not just your typical athlete getting into shape story. It's a champion, someone who's already at the top, deciding to change and push herself even further.
Right. And doing it quietly too. No big announcements or anything. It's just pure dedication.
Totally agree. It's refreshing, in a world where everyone's shouting about every little thing they do.
It is. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people. It's like we all want to improve, push our limits, be better versions of ourselves.
For sure.
So how do we actually take what we've learned from Val Sweeting and apply it to our own lives? What are the key takeaways?
I think one of the biggest things is that holistic approach. It's not just diet or exercise or mental toughness. It's about all of it together.
It's like that saying, you can't out-train a bad diet, right?
Exactly. Everything's connected. Even small changes in one area can affect everything else.
And it's about doing those things consistently.
Yes, consistency is key.
It's so easy to get caught up in wanting quick results, but real change takes time.
Absolutely. Patience and dedication. And you gotta be willing to embrace the whole process.
Which, let's be real, can be tough.
Yeah.
We're so used to wanting things instantly.
It's true.
But what if we, focused on the journey, not just the end goal?
I think that's a really important point. If you can find enjoyment in working towards your goal, the setbacks don't seem so bad. The tough parts become like opportunities to reflect and learn.
And that applies to anything, right? Fitness, learning new things, even work.
Totally. And we don't have to do it all alone either.
That's true.
We talked about getting help from experts, right? Val Sweeting probably has coaches, nutritionists, all that. We can do the same.
It's about knowing when to ask for help, whether it's a personal trainer at the gym, a nutritionist, or even therapy to work on those mental blocks.
Exactly.
There's help out there for whatever we need. And I think that's another big lesson from Val Sweeting's story. It's okay to rely on others to build a support system that helps you reach your goals.
Love that.
So we've talked about that holistic approach, being consistent, having patience, the importance of mindset, and getting help from experts. But before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with something to think about. Imagine you could talk to Val Sweeting and ask her one question, the question that would give you the most valuable insight into her whole transformation. What would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Makes you think.
I know, right?
What would your question be?
Honestly, I probably asked her, what was the biggest change in your mindset that allowed you to transform like this? Because to me, it seems like it's more than just the physical stuff. It's a whole new way of approaching her sport and herself.
That's such a good question. It really gets to the heart of it all. And even though we don't have Val here to answer it for us, maybe we can ask ourselves that same question.
Oh, I like that.
Like, what beliefs are we holding on to that might be stopping us from reaching our potential? What would it take for us to change our thinking and open ourselves up to new possibilities?
That's a powerful thought, and I think that's what Val Sweeting's journey is really all about. It's not just the physical transformation, it's about the inspiration. She reminds us that we all have the power to make positive changes, no matter how big or small.
So well said. And with that, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. We hope you enjoyed exploring Val Sweeting's story with us. Hopefully you got some ideas to apply to your own life.
Until next time, keep being curious, keep learning, and remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Thanks for listening.